Chosen one, you weren't supposed to notice. You weren't supposed to catch them watching. They planned it so perfectly. The whispers behind fake smiles, the energy checks when you walked into the room. But when you smiled back, something ancient inside the matrix glitched. Camera zooms in, heartbeat sound. They thought you were weak because you were quiet. They studied your pain like it was a map to your destruction. They took notes on your silence, thinking it was surrender. But what they never realized was that your silence was signal jamming. Your peace was divine interference. Low drum rise. Because the moment you smiled, heaven logged in. Your light triggered a code written before time, a hidden protocol that not even the watchers were ready for. Beat of silence. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a divine counter-surveillance move. Every tear you cried became encryption. Every act of forgiveness built a firewall they couldn't hack. You became spiritually invisible to those who tried to feed off your pain. You didn't just heal, you upgraded background shifts from dark to glowing blue aura. They studied your pain, but they underestimated your peace. Because pain makes noise, but peace is power. And when power gets quiet, the system starts to panic. Soft whisper. They don't understand how your energy recalibrated. How you survived humiliation and still smiled like the universe owed you nothing. How you walked away without clapping back and somehow came back glowing. Cinematic rise, thunder, heartbeat, slow echo. This message isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who can feel the frequency shift right now. The ones who sense the watchers but aren't afraid anymore. The ones whose joy has suddenly made people nervous. Camera pans to cosmic light. When your spirit entered peace mode, the entire spiritual grid reacted. Certain people started glitching around you. Their conversations broke. Their energy misfired. Because your vibration logged you out of their control system. Understand this. Your smile wasn't weakness. It was an override. A universal command that said, "I'm done running simulations of pain." That single moment of genuine joy rewrote your destiny's code. It told heaven you're ready for activation. Final 10 seconds. Whisper tone. So if you've been feeling eyes on you, if peace feels strange after chaos, it's because something divine has awakened. The watchers didn't want you to see them, but your smile exposed their programming, and that's where the hidden protocol begins. Chosen one, you think you were just being ignored, but you were being monitored. Not by cameras, by frequencies. This world doesn't just watch with eyes anymore. It listens with energy. It studies vibration. And every time your soul upgraded, the system recorded it. When you healed, something in their control grid cracked. Because pain keeps you predictable. But peace? Peace breaks the pattern. The moment you stopped chasing closure and started creating calm, every sensor that fed off your suffering lost its signal. Soft whisper tone. They used to feed on your reactions, your anger, your confusion, your need to prove yourself. Every emotional spike gave them data. But when you smiled through the storm, the grid froze. You became unreadable. Background, low bass pulse, like heartbeat echoing in space. Every smile you gave wasn't just an emotion. It was data transmitted through the spiritual mainframe. Each laugh, each act of forgiveness, it sent new coordinates of light into a dark system that runs on pain. They couldn't decode joy because joy doesn't follow logic. Joy is divine mathematics. Camera pans through flickering holographic code. See, these watchers, they weren't ordinary people. They were programs in human form, emotional hackers in designer disguises. They don't follow you physically, they mirror you spiritually. They replicate energy patterns, test responses, collect frequencies. They track emotional codes, not locations. They study your vibration when you're tired, when you're crying, when you're praying. They measure how fast you recover after heartbreak. They watch to see if your empathy still activates after betrayal. Pause. Silence fills the air. And every time you choose peace over pettiness, compassion over clapping back, their system malfunctions. Thunder-like sound builds faintly. You think you're alone? Number. The Watchers have been running simulations, testing humanity's weakest link, emotion. They send triggers, distractions, illusions, just to see if you'll react. But then you stopped reacting. You started responding. You started moving like someone who already knew the outcome. And the algorithm panicked. They tried to reset you through gossip, isolation, silent treatment, rejection, all frequency traps. But you broke the code. Because when your soul detached from approval, you unplugged from their network. Voice rises, strong, confident. And here's the twist, the divine twist. They can track anger. They can trace fear. They can even replicate sadness. But they can't track happiness. Joy confuses the algorithm. Pause, let it breathe. When you laugh now, their system hears static. When you love again after loss, their data returns corrupted. When you forgive instead of retaliate, you rewrite the entire matrix, whisper tone. That's why some people suddenly distance themselves when you heal. Not because you changed, but because your energy became untraceable. They can't access what vibrates above their pay grade. Music swells with light frequencies. Chosen one. You are walking proof that emotion is encryption. Your empathy carries access codes to higher timelines. That's why the Watchers study you. Because you break what they can't understand. Cinematic finale. Voice slows. Deep echo. So remember this. Every time you choose peace, you jam a signal. Every time you smile, you activate light warfare. Every time you love without fear, the system crashes. Long pause, then quiet whisper. You're not being watched anymore. You're being witnessed by heaven. End of chapter 1. The surveillance of souls. When your aura upgraded, your light touched something unseen. An invisible firewall written into divine code. Not man-made, not spiritual folklore. Ancient, celestial, protective. They call it the hidden protocol. A sacred line of defense that activates only when a chosen one reaches peace after betrayal. It's heaven's cybersecurity for the soul, a protection system designed long before your pain ever began. Beat, tone lowers, mysterious. See, most people think protection means walls, distance, or revenge. But heaven's protection begins when you release control. When your heart forgives faster than your ego can argue. Soft piano fades in. That's when the hidden protocol detects something rare, a healed heart in a hostile world. And heaven says, activate. Electric pulse sound effect, like divine switch flipping. Every time you smiled after heartbreak, your DNA uploaded new code. Every time you laughed when you could have cried, the universe recorded a spiritual milestone. You didn't just move on, you evolved. And with every act of peace, you sent a signal into the grid. Subject reached divine neutrality. Translation? They can't control you anymore. Music swells slightly, cinematic. Because neutrality is the highest frequency of power. It means your emotions no longer report to pain. They report to purpose. You stopped reacting to their chaos and started responding with calm. That's when the hidden protocol sealed your aura. When that seal locks, confusion enters the camp of your enemies. They start arguing among themselves. Their plans lose order. Their confidence fades. Because the energy they were feeding on no longer answers their call. Beat, calm, prophetic voice. They start asking, why can't I affect them anymore? Why doesn't my manipulation work? Why does their peace irritate me? And heaven whispers, because the firewall is active. Your energy now reflects attacks back to the sender. Their curses hit divine encryption and bounce into chaos. Their gossip loops into confusion. Their envy returns as exposure. You don't even have to defend yourself. The code defends you. Soft smile and tone. The hidden protocol doesn't need passwords. It needs alignment. And you earned it through patience, not perfection. You passed the test by not becoming what hurt you. Cinematic rise. So now, when you walk into a room, heaven scans the environment first. When someone plots behind your back, divine interference reroutes their path. When you sleep, Angelic firewalls block energy thieves in real time. Whisper. Slow, sacred tone. You thought you lost everything, but you were gaining encryption. Your heartbreak wasn't punishment. It was installation. Every delay, every denial, every detour was downloading protection. And now, you walk under the shield of something holy, something invisible, something unbreakable. Pause and final whisper. The hidden protocol has one simple rule. When peace becomes your weapon, heaven becomes your firewall. End of chapter 2. The hidden protocol. They expected you to fight back. They expected posts, paragraphs, proof. They expected you to defend, explain, and beg for validation. But when you stayed silent, when you smiled instead of screamed, the system crashed. Bass hit. Screen flickers like a broken feed. They couldn't understand it. Your stillness became their storm, because silence is the loudest frequency in the universe. And when a chosen one goes quiet, heaven speaks. Soft reverb under voice. Their gossip reports came back unreadable. Every rumor, every screenshot, every whisper returned as static. Your name became encrypted in divine light. Their energy attacks bounced back with a warning label stamped by heaven. Unauthorized access denied. Cinematic build. Glitch sounds rise. They pressed every button they knew. They tried emotional hacking, guilt tripping, and fake concern. But the firewall didn't respond, because you weren't even logged into their dimension anymore. Pause, deep breath. You became a ghost in their machine. Invisible, unpredictable, untouchable. Every attempt to drain you now drains them. Every spell they whispered rewrote itself as a mirror reflection. They cursed you and saw their own chaos staring back. Camera pans to show digital storm around a glowing figure. See, when you refused to react, you unplugged their power source. The energy exchange ended. Their validation system collapsed. They weren't feeding on your pain anymore, and starvation began. Low hum, heartbeat turns into thunder. Some of them panicked in silence. Some created fake crises just to test if your empathy was still available. Some tried to reappear like nothing happened, hoping your peace had an expiration date, but your calm confused the coordinates. They couldn't locate the old you. Soft whisper, hypnotic tone. You see, emotional predators don't fear anger. They fear indifference, because anger still connects you to the web. But indifference? That's a power outage. Beat, short silence, then gentle strings. When you smiled through their sabotage, heaven wrote a new command in the spiritual code. Reverse data stream. That means everything meant to destroy you must now deliver revelation. Prophetic tone, voice deepens. So now their words promote you. Their envy exposes them. Their jealousy advertises your destiny. They built platforms of gossip that became pulpits for your prophecy. Pause, soft laugh. They thought you'd crumble, but you recalibrated. They thought you'd fight, but you transcended. They thought silence meant defeat, but silence was strategy. Camera slowly zooms out. Light brightens. You stopped explaining yourself and started embodying your peace. That was the moment heaven said, Phase 1 complete. Beat, rising suspense. Because this was never just personal, it was cosmic. Voice rises on firm and prophetic. Phase 2 begins when the universe reveals who was watching, not to shame them, but to show you why it had to happen. Some faces you trusted were not friends. They were data collectors. Some connections were not partnerships. They were simulations to test your discernment. Thunder echoes softly. And soon, heaven will pull the curtain back. You'll see every hidden hand, every false supporter, every silent observer who pretended to clap while waiting for you to collapse. Their role was never to destroy you. It was to expose themselves. Slow whisper closing. So stay calm. Don't react. Your composure is coding miracles right now. Because once the universe reveals the watchers, the real show begins. Bass fades, light glows brighter. End of chapter 3. They panicked when you didn't react. You didn't realize it, but the moment you stopped explaining yourself, spiritual investigators started taking notes. Every reaction you didn't give became divine evidence. Every time you chose silence over shade, your restraint was recorded. Every heartbreak you healed privately was documented in celestial code. Camera zoomed slowly into glowing files made of light. See, there are files in the spirit realm, labeled with your name, each one marked Unbreakable Protocol Activated. They can't delete what heaven archived, because once your soul reached divine neutrality, your life became a living case study in spiritual evolution. Soft piano builds with low thunder in the distance. Your story is not gossip anymore. It's evidence. Proof that light wins. Proof that grace outlasts betrayal. Proof that peace is stronger than provocation. When heaven opened your observation file, the angels didn't review your achievements. They reviewed your reactions. They replayed every moment you stayed kind when the world was cruel. Every prayer whispered through tears. Every time you smiled while misunderstood. Those weren't random moments. They were trigger codes. The universe didn't need to see you win to approve you. It needed to see you still glowing while losing. That's the moment your observation file was sealed with a divine signature. Clearance granted for next dimension. Prophetic tone strengthens. You were never unprotected. You were being observed. Monitored not for punishment, but for promotion. Every test, every silence, every delay. Heaven was gathering data to prove that your spirit could not be corrupted. Background shifts into radiant golden light, symbolizing divine oversight. And now the watchers who laughed, mocked, and plotted are under investigation themselves. Because the same spiritual investigators that monitored your integrity are now reviewing their intentions. Slow whisper, dramatic pause. Your name cleared realms they can't even enter. Your patience became your passport. Your peace became your proof. Soft smirk in voice. And the funny part, some of them can feel it. That quiet discomfort when you walk in. That's their spirit recognizing your clearance level. They sense you're logged into something sacred that they no longer have access to. Voice lowers, gentle but firm. So don't chase explanations. Heaven already documented the truth. Every lie they told about you now exists as evidence of your endurance. Your observation file holds it all, and soon it will be displayed as favor. Music swells, cinematic bass, and choral echo. Because when the next chapter of your life begins, it won't start with revenge. It'll start with receipts, not screenshots, but spiritual proof that you passed every hidden test. Final whisper, sacred tone. The spiritual surveillance wasn't for control, it was for confirmation. They didn't know that heaven was recording too. Screen fades to black. Glowing eye symbol flickers briefly. The observation files are complete. Comment, my calm confuses the system. If you felt people watching you differently lately, because your silence just wrote a new page in heaven's archives. They thought they were observing you, but somewhere in the heavens, the code flipped. Soft thunder. Heaven reversed the flow of energy. The watchers became the watched. Every vibration they sent to monitor you now loops back through their own field. Beat, glowing data streams swirl around a figure of light. Now their own thoughts echo back at them. The same curiosity they projected onto you has turned into conviction. The same eyes that studied your downfall now stare into mirrors that reveal their motives. The system that tried to read you is now being rewritten by you. Slow zoom. The voice softens. Prophetic tone deepens. This is what the ancients called the reversal algorithm. It activates when purity outlasts provocation. When you respond with peace instead of proof. When your energy no longer feeds their narrative, cinematic strings rise. You see, every time they spoke your name with malice, heaven saved a copy of the sound wave. And now those same frequencies play back in their own atmosphere. Distorted, exposing intention. Whisper. They feel it as restlessness, sleepless nights, unexplainable tension, because the algorithm is returning their signal. Short pause, then firm. When you smile now, it's not just a smile, it's a frequency weapon. It sends peace into the grid, scrambles negative intent, and recodes reality around you. Your laughter resets timelines, your calmness rewires rooms. Bass vibration rises softly. The light inside you doesn't fight darkness anymore. It absorbs it, recycles it, and releases it as clarity. Whisper close to the mic. Your peace became your firewall. Your laughter, your shield, moment of silence, faint echo of angelic choir. That's why they can't understand how your presence shifts the air, how rooms feel lighter when you enter and heavier when you leave. You've become a walking energy correction. Every step rebalances polarity. Camera pans to glowing circuits spreading from under the chosen one's feet. The reversal algorithm doesn't punish, it mirrors. It makes people confront the energy they send. That's divine justice in digital form. Voice slows, deep and calm. Some are awakening because of it. Some are crumbling. But either way, truth is surfacing. And you, the one they underestimated, are now heaven's mirror. Soft whisper, final close. So keep smiling, keep laughing. Every gentle act confuses the code that once tried to control you, because now you're not reacting to their world. Their world is reacting to you. Bass fades. Screen glows with light forming an eye symbol. End of chapter 5, the reversal algorithm. Eye with a star inside it. The hidden protocol wasn't just protection, it was preparation. Everything that went dark was building a brighter broadcast. Every delay was data compiling. Every disappointment was heaven's way of editing your story before the world saw it. Thunder murmurs in the distance as light ripples like code running across the sky. You are about to witness heaven's counter-surveillance. Everything that spied on your suffering will now stream your success. The same energy that mocked your breakdown will replay your breakthrough in 4K clarity. Beat. Camera pans through scenes of faces turning, screens lighting up, whispers stopping. This is the revelation era, where divine data becomes visible. Every unseen seed of integrity is about to bloom in public view. Your good deeds, your loyalty, your patience, all of it stored in heaven's archives, are now entering live transmission. Soft bass pulse, heartbeat rhythm. You'll notice people watching you again. But this time the stare will feel different. Not invasive, but inspired. They'll watch your life unfold the same way they once watched for your fall. Only now, they'll see evidence of what grace can do. Voice softens to a whisper. Some will call it luck. Some will call it timing. But the ones who truly see will know. It's revelation. Cinematic pause. Angelic tones in the background. Heaven is about to make private endurance look like public acceleration. Opportunities will appear out of nowhere. Doors will open without knocking, and people who once ignored you will study you for light codes they don't understand. The screen glows brighter as if reality itself is updating. This isn't karma, it's confirmation. You didn't just survive the test, you became the blueprint. Your resilience rewired realms. Prophetic tone strengthens. And here's the divine irony. The Watchers were never your enemies. They were instruments of exposure. They collected proof of your purity while trying to sabotage your peace. Short breath. Voice slows for emphasis. Now their data has been reassigned. Heaven is using their observations as your promotion reel. This revelation era carries a rule written in spiritual code. Every hidden thing shall now be shown in divine order. That means the real you, the healed, refined, unbothered version, is about to go viral in the spirit realm. Soft laugh in tone. People will say, how did they glow overnight? Not realizing your light was years in the making. Camera zooms close. Whisper tone. But here's the twist. You were never the target. You were the test. The universe wasn't testing your worth. It was testing the world's response to your energy. You were the experiment to expose who could handle real purity. Bass hit. Light flashes across the screen. So the ones who plotted, they revealed themselves. The ones who supported, they're about to be blessed beside you. Because heaven grades on vibration, not reputation. Voice grows firm, majestic. The revelation era isn't about revenge. It's about recognition. Not of your pain, but of your purpose. Pause, gentle echo. You've reached the moment where silence turns to spotlight, and the same system that once watched you in secret will now project your ascension in public. whisper, final line. Welcome to the revelation era, where heaven streams your success live. Soft bass fade, golden flare fills the screen. End of chapter 6. The revelation era begins. When the hidden protocol activated, it uploaded your soul mission to the cosmic mainframe. Heaven didn't send you here to fight darkness. It sent you to update Earth's frequency. Electric tones ripple. The screen flickers like an interstellar computer booting up. You're not here to expose them. You're here to expand the frequency. Because truth doesn't need to shout, it needs to resonate. Every healed emotion becomes code. Every moment of grace becomes data. Every act of forgiveness reprograms collective reality. Camera pans over holographic strands of DNA glowing with light. When you forgave what was unforgivable, you didn't just set yourself free. You rewrote the algorithm of humanity. Your heart became the USB drive heaven plugged into the grid. Soft bass vibration rises, heartbeat tempo. This is why you were isolated. Heaven needed clean bandwidth. You had to go offline to be upgraded. While everyone else was chasing validation, you were in divine maintenance mode. Silent, invisible, under reconstruction. They thought the silence meant you were finished, but heaven knew you were uploading. Flash of light, cinematic bass hit. When the upload began, everything unnecessary disconnected. Relationships timed out, jobs expired, conversations lagged. Because low-frequency energy can't operate on high-frequency Wi-Fi. Voice deepens, confident. You were never being ignored. You were being buffered for brilliance. Heaven doesn't rush perfection. It processes it. Beat, then prophetic tone builds. And now, the upload is complete. Your soul mission has synced with the master network. Glowing light floods the frame. Angelic frequencies swirl. From this point forward, your words will carry current. Your presence will transmit power. Your peace will alter patterns. Soft whisper. You won't have to convince anyone anymore. They'll just feel it. Your aura will speak fluent revelation, cinematic rise, imagery of signals pulsing from the heart outward. Heaven's broadcast tower is live. You are the frequency of change, the living signal that says, light has returned to the system. Every time you speak love into confusion, the code updates. Every time you choose compassion instead of control, the timeline heals. Brief pause. Deep voice, almost like narration from the heavens. The real mission upload wasn't about what you'd do for the world. It was about who you'd become in it. Heaven didn't send you to debate darkness. It sent you to vibrate light. Soft hum. Golden particles moving through space. And now, as the data finishes syncing, the universe prepares your broadcast window. Everything that once muted you will now amplify you. Everything that drained you will now depend on your frequency to survive. Voice slows to sacred whisper. This is the moment where divine silence becomes divine signal. Your story isn't repeating, it's streaming. So breathe. Stay aligned. Heaven is transmitting through you in real time. Final whisper. Close to the mic. And now, the broadcast begins. Screen fades to white light pulsing in rhythm with a heartbeat. A faint voice echoes. Transmission 01. The real mission upload, complete. Chosen one. You were never hidden. You were encrypted. Heaven blurred you to protect you until the protocol completed. Soft pause. The air feels sacred. Every delay, every detour, every door that stayed closed was a divine firewall keeping you invisible until your mission was stable enough to go live. You thought you were forgotten, but you were simply being formatted for favor. Bass hum deepens, like cosmic wind moving through light. Now, the same smile that once confused the system will begin to open divine doors. Expect sudden visibility, random favor, unexplainable recognition, divine exposure without effort. You'll feel timelines syncing because the watchers who once studied your suffering are now witnessing a miracle. Visual, golden energy radiates outward. People turning their heads, noticing light where darkness used to be. They used to whisper about your pain. Now they'll reference your peace. They used to analyze your silence. Now they'll quote your wisdom, because heaven is rewriting your reputation in real time. Soft smile and tone. You don't need to announce your breakthrough. Your frequency already did. When heaven says it's time, favor becomes your introduction. Music swells gently, angelic echoes behind each word. The hidden protocol had one final line of code, and it just executed. Pause, whisper tone. Peace shall expose what pain once hid. A hush. The audience feels the weight of revelation. It means the same calm that once made them overlook you will now make them honor you. The same smile they dismissed will now open divine partnerships, platforms, and purpose. Every delay you endured is now merging into alignment. Bass vibrates like a heartbeat, steady and divine. Chosen one, you're not being monitored anymore. You're being mirrored. Every soul that once misjudged you will now see themselves through your transformation. You are heaven's proof that divine timing was never denial. It was design, soft whisper. They hid your light so it could charge in silence. Now it's fully charged, and heaven is ready to show the world what divine encryption looks like in human form. Camera slowly pans back. The light expands until it fills the frame. This is your visibility season. Not for vanity, but for validation. Not for applause, but for alignment. Every eye that once rolled at your faith will soon bow in awe of your glow. So walk with peace, not pride. You don't need revenge. Your radiance is proof. You don't need words. Your life will preach. Whisper tone final. Because when heaven updates a soul, the whole universe refreshes to display it. Pause, a single heartbeat of silence. And this is your public update. Screen glows white. A faint voice echoes. Transmission complete. Visibility protocol online. Call to action. Comment, my hidden protocol is active if you're claiming this prophecy. Like this video, share it with another chosen one, and subscribe, because the next prophecy reveals the 3 days after activation, when the universe publicly uploads your reward. Fade out, gentle hum of divine frequencies. End of transmission. The prophecy of visibility. Eye with a star inside it.